So there we go. They climbed that better than the SCX-24s did.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
That part right there, the SCX-24s don't even make it up that easily. They still struggle.
Not without spin.
Yeah, now they don't want to spin and everything, just street tires and all.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. First off, Happy New Year. It's going to be right in early January by the time this video launches to you guys, so happy 2021. Let's hope for a good one, Jesse and I. Yeah, we're starting off with a build that we got over the Christmas holiday. You see this in our Christmas special, sitting on top of the pile of builds we were waiting to come on in. This guy landed. And yeah, we're going to start by unboxing it, show you what KYOSHO set it up out of the box. We're going to throw the recommended battery setup, everything to the manual, take it on our little mini Moab mountain in the back, do some crawling on it, and then we're going to bring it back out here and we're going to tear it apart and redo it the ProNoob way. So we have a whole ton of upgrades for it. We've got all the brass option upgrades, carbon fiber frame rails, and we're going to lower it a little bit. They come a little bit too tall out of the gate and they're a little bit tippy. So we're going to lower it down just a little bit and we're going to show you how we figured out how to do that. And yeah, so let's get this thing open. This is a Mini-Z 4x4 little electric crawler. It runs on AAA batteries, or you can convert them to run on life packs. Now we got a pair of the Toyota ones. We converted one to run on life packs, and we noticed that it's a little bit more tippy. That extra weight does help plant it and keep the little more traction in the front for going over hills and such. So in that kind of department, I recommend just leaving the vehicle alone. So yeah, the truck comes out. It is screwed to this plate. Comes with yet another manual. The manual's really only thing you would need from them is if you're planning on changing the gear ratio to go faster. It's not really necessary if you're going crawling. So in this bag you get what I was just talking about. These are the motor clips that space out the motor pinion, or the motor so the pinion's farther away, and then you get corresponding gears that go with it, 10, 12, 14 or whatever, and then a different mount. Mount goes, I think, 2 different directions, so it does 2 different things each way. We don't use that. We're crawlers, right? So okay, so the radio that comes with it is another KYOSHO Synchro KT531P. It's a very basic RTR radio. The trigger feels nice. It's a little bit light. I feel like you feel a little bit more tension in there like the SCX-24s, but the wheel tension is very nice. So, you know, 50-50 on that. Now the truck itself is a, what color are they calling that? Granite Crystal Metallic. And it is a Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon, or Rubicon Unlimited. That is the 2020 edition Jeep JL, the new one, in a 4-door, of course. So, the tires and wheels on this kit are the Nito Trail Grapplers, or actually the Ridge Grapplers. Sorry, that were the same ones on the Toyota 4Runners. The wheelbase on this one is 120 millimeters, where the wheelbase on the Toyotas were 110 millimeters, which gave it a little bit, which will give this one a little bit better advantage kind of trailing around, going uphill and such. In this scale, the longer wheelbase is a better thing. 110 is a little bit short, but with some mods, we've got those Toyotas going pretty good. Okay, so first off, take that guy out of the truck with 4 screws, and then you got to take that guy off the skid plate with 2 more screws. You do not need to replace the screws into the holes in the bottom of the skid plate, so just throw them in your parts bin. There we have it. Yeah, the detail KYOSHO does on these vehicles is amazing. The little matte black hood stops when you flip the windshield down on the hood to the grill hood vents, or the hood vents in the top there, what do you want to call them. It does accept the light kit, so you get the headlight buckets that will light up in the tail lights. And it's even got the clear and orange turn signal and marker light built in, two-tone on the top. It's kind of a purple color I'm seeing. You seen that?
Yes.
It's kind of like a purple gunmetal. So the bumpers on the kit are just the same bumpers that came on the Toyota. They kind of don't really, you know, they definitely fit a Toyota versus this Jeep. They should have been a little bit more, whatever. We do have a resin printer that we just picked up, so maybe we'll make our own bumpers for it now. But you can see what I mean, it's not bad. It does set a little bit high, so once we drop it down to about there, you can see it just looks a lot better, more scale, more trail, and then it becomes a lot less tippy, right? So we're just gonna squat them a little bit, and we'll show you how we do that. That's gonna be the last thing we do. It is not an easy mod. It's well, it's easy, it just takes a bit of confidence and patience. We'll get into it. It's not as easy as just bolting on parts, we'll say. So a little bit of knick-knackery, but it's something that anybody can do. We're gonna go and take this guy out on the scale trail and run him in stock format with the AAA batteries that they recommend. We'll be running these Orion 900 milliamp high voltage 1.25 cells. You're a little bit more power, and they're a little bit lighter than your let's say like President's Choice or whatever, you know, giant Karen's battery store batteries or whatever you want to call them. So yeah, we're gonna take this guy, run him on the little mini Moab that Jess and I built last winter, and then we're gonna bring him back to the bench. We're gonna tear him down and build him up like we've done with our little Toyota truck, and then we're gonna take him back out, rerun him on the course, and show you guys the blatantly obvious difference of upgrades, obviously. So stay tuned. We're gonna go get this fired up. We'll get back here in a minute. Okay, there we have it, stock trim. We've taken it on our mini Moab here. We are going to take this little guy now. We're going to lower that suspension down. We're going to take out some of that jiggle. We're going to add some weight down low. KYOSHO recently just came out with some actually metal weighted wheels for them. They have a metal ring inside the wheels to add a lot more weight down low. That'll be another option we're going to look at. The biggest thing you're going to see that we're going to do tonight to this truck is lower that suspension a little bit. Honestly, the truck does look the best when it's just squatted like that. It looks like a road vehicle. To set this truck up in droop would probably be actually a really good advantage for it, but you still need to limit some of that up travel. You don't want to droop with that much up travel, so we're going to lower it down. We might clip the springs. Usually just lowering it down with some spacers is good enough. We're going to go do that right now, show you we take care of that, and then we're going to run that line again. It's a good crawler out of the gate. We were hitting some pretty good lines there. They're pretty difficult, and it did it no problem. But wait till you see the mods. It's going to cut that line in probably half the time. There'll be no gingerly pussyfooting around and just send it, right? So, yeah, let's go get this done. Okay, so this is the Mini-Z four-wheel drive, Mini-Z 4x4 with the body off. Pretty much exact same as the Toyota, just a little bit longer wheelbase on it. So it is a ladder type frame. It is not a C-channel chassis like your SCX-10 24. It is more what we call a TVP chassis, which is twin vertical plate. Just two stamped out pieces of aluminum brought together. No step in, no step out, just a straight kind of a log style. Kind of what we call log style. Doesn't have the step in, step out. Nothing wrong with that. It works fine. Battery box mounted up in the front with a little KYOSHO 5-wire servo that is proprietary to KYOSHO in the front. It's strong. It does a job. I've got no complaints. We're going to leave it because it works with its what do they call these? 3-in-1 or something? Yeah, something like that. It's speed control, receiver, and you can plug a gyro into it. It's got a plug for a light kit into it. I don't know. Gyro's more for the track cars. It's the same one, just repurposed. Yeah, pretty decent units. The motor comes out, just a clip. Pop that out, slide that out, done. The slipper clutch is under here. Some of them do have issues. We have 2 of the Toyotas, and one of them had a slipping slipper clutch, so we had to take it all apart and just glued it with super glue and sent it, and it's been good. So, yeah, great units. If you haven't seen them, they're obviously solid axle front and rear. They have, actually, these ones are direct ring and pinion, which we like too. They're not your standard worm gear like everybody else is using, so I can actually grab this truck by the wheels and turn it over, which you couldn't do that with an SCX-24 or any other trucks on the market besides maybe the Barrage, because they're all worm gear drives. So it's 3-link in the front with a chassis mounted servo, but it's like a cheap 3-link like the rear, where it's just got the one ball on the top here. And yeah, you know, it works, but we prefer to see a 4-link out in the back. It gives a little bit more stability, and then a 3-link in the front with a panhard would be nice, but that's a lot to fit into a micro, so we know why they didn't do it. So anyway, yeah, that's her in stock trim. Great little unit. Tires are super soft, really scale looking. Little pro tip, on the tire has this little ridge around there. If you just take some time and a piece of sandpaper and you just knock down that middle ridge so it's more, the tire's more flat with the rest of the tire all the way around, you get a ton more traction, and you don't got to sit there and spin through your motor and your battery packs and wear the tires in. You can just sit there while you're getting ready to run and do that with a nail file sanding board or anything. And yeah, so we're gonna get building on this guy. Okay, so the parts lot we're gonna be using for this build is some Team Extra Speed chassis, carbon fiber chassis rails. Found my hobby knife here. We had an issue when we ordered these. They only sent out one, but RC Mart was fantastic. We just sent them a picture and a order number, and they said, oops, our bad. They sent us the second one. So one package, it's like $10. You get both frame rails, so we can get that swapped over. And then we have the Extra Speed brass portal cover, brass knuckles for the front. The KYOSHO ones were almost double the price, and the Extra Speed ones I think weighed more, so obviously a no-brainer on that one. These parts you got to go to KYOSHO for. It is a KYOSHO 4.8mm brass balls that goes in the end of the rod links to add just a little bit more weight down low. And next up we have for the rear axle, the brass rear ring for the KYOSHO Mini-Z. These are just caps that screw onto the end of the axles behind the wheels. And do not order the barrel bearing kit for the Mini-Z trucks. They already come with them in there, and this one was just a waste of money. The truck comes with them. And so far, that's pretty much about all the parts you can really throw under a Mini-Z right now. To add some more to it, there is little skid plates that you can put underneath the diffs, which you know is going to get you stuck, so don't waste your money and buy those. There is weighted wheels from KYOSHO. We're going to order some of those up and get those and throw those on here too. And KYOSHO actually has a set of snow tracks for these little dudes. And I just ordered the 2 pairs because you have to order in pairs, $50 US per pair. So I ordered both pairs last week off of, I think it was A-Main or RC Mart. I think it was RC Mart actually. I ordered them off RC Mart last week and they should be here probably in 6 to 8 weeks with Christmas and Chinese New Year coming up around the corner. So yeah, that'll be another video coming up the tracks. So yeah, let's tear this guy apart. Okay, so after you pop your new frame in, you're going to want to start with your 8mm screws that go into the front and 8mm screws into the rear. Okay, so get that guy started. Another 8mm for the rear. Go to the very back post. Bumper goes on outside of chassis, not in between. Don't tighten anything up until everything's in, and then come back and tighten everything up. You want to make sure there's no pinch wires. All these wires that they've already nicely laced through the frame aren't getting pinched by your new chassis when you're putting it in. Okay, so that's the final screw going in. We can tighten that one up. We could run through and tighten these all up. And that's how you swap out your carbon fiber frame rail. Do it on the truck one side at a time. Do not do both sides at a time. You'll have a big mess of parts to deal with, and that would suck. Do it one at a time. It's easy to do. Now, this guy needs to thread into the carbon fiber. You get one shot to do it. Do it right. Don't dig a hole. Don't strip it out. So you're going to want to put your back screw in. I like to hold it from there. Bring the front one up. Start threading. Okay, well that went in far too easily. Usually it doesn't work that well, so. Okay, so I gotta take these shocks to the other side and get ready on that. Okay, so we've got our carbon fiber frame rails installed in the truck right now, and now we're gonna move on to doing the front little C-hubs here. Or I guess knuckles would be after the C-hub. A little tiny screw on here. You do need a, I think this is a 00 Phillips. You're gonna need that for getting these little dudes off here. Now this axle opens up to pop this end drive off. You do want to make sure you have your shock removed, so when you come to open this side of the axle up, you can get it to open a little bit. There, so you can open that up a little bit and pop that guy out and take out your universal and your joint. Both these knuckles are going to be the same. They tend not to make left and rights. We've noticed with the micro stuff. Usually it's just universal. So this little shaft here just pulls out from the center. Keep that guy clean, throw him down here, and then you got to remove these 3 Phillips screws here so you can remove the bearing. It's a single bearing. The whole hub fits right into it. You gotta get that bearing out of there without damaging it. It is in there very easily. You could just do it with your screwdriver. You don't even need to push. You just kind of touch it in like 4 or 5 different spots going around in a circle, and she'll walk it out for you. Bearings inlays into the brass. You want to just lightly push that in by hand. You don't need any tool or force to put that in there. Just wiggle it down, rock it back and forth. Such tiny bearings, you can damage the race if you push it in with a tool. So that's it, seated all the way down. They do supply new screws, 1.5 millimeter. You're gonna need to Loctite them in. We're using our brand new Vanquish driver set we got for Christmas this year. Beautiful addition to the bench. We've got about 4 or 5 of these sets running. This is our first Vanquish set, and it's real nice. The nice matte black billet, nice black tool shanks. Now just see how long they hold up. Okay, so that's all back on there, done, easy cheesy, no problem. You're gonna want to stick your hub or your axle or whatever, your universal back through. This part's a little bit tricky. You got to hold this kind of in line this way, so you can then bring it all together in one shot. You don't want to get that middle drive or that universal drive in, and hook your top and bottoms back together in. Boom, done. And then all you got to do is bring over the steering arm, slide that in, and then it's this little tiny screw from the top back down. And you just don't want to over tighten that. You want to make sure that's still nice and free on there. Okay, and the rear is, you untwist this guy, threaded cap, throw him in your parts bin, grab your fancy little threaded caps from Extra Speed, and thread it on. If you put the cap on there against the threads and turn it backwards a little bit, you'll feel it click into where it wants to start, and then you spin it down. It is brass going onto a super fine plastic thread. You can botch that up, so just make sure you turn it backwards until you feel it go click where it wants to start, and then slowly it should go down like butter and then tighten it up at the bottom end. So if you gotta force it to stop, you'll bugger up your axles. So that's pretty much it for the wheel mods, weight mods there. The next thing we're gonna do is pop out these links. We're going to do them one by one, keep it simple, and we're going to swap those over to the brass balls. Pretty simple. Little tiny pin comes out. You can take them out, pop one out. The other side is, I believe it's a set screw in the middle. You take a set screw in the middle and you just push the whole shaft out. So we'll push it this way, take this link out, and we'll push it the other way, take the other link out. And I believe they gave us 8 balls. 12. So they give us enough to actually do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, that's enough for everything. Because it doesn't use them. It only uses them on the top. So it's enough to do everything with 2 spare left over. So that's kind of cool. And I think I keep rubbing my arm in that. Yeah, okay. So we're going to speed this up. We're going to do the other side of the truck, and then we'll slow us back down when it comes time to pull those links out in a few minutes. And then we just got to do the shock mod, and this is like half an hour. So the truck's going to be a complete animal when we're done. You'll see the difference. And yeah, let's get her done. Let's go run this thing. Okay. We're going to change out the ball ends from plastic to these brass ones to add a little bit more weight. Everything's included, hardware-wise. So you got this tiny little one. I'm not sure what size it is. And you can thread them out. Holy Christ. Okay, so you just back that screw off, leave that there. And then on the center skid plate, there's 2 holes. Center one here, just back this guy off. You don't need to take it out, just back it off. Until you can move the pin for the link. And then you can pop him right out. Boop, link's out.
Nice.
Taking these guys out, pair of needle nose, best way to do it. Just take it, hold the ball from the flat sides where the hole goes through, and then just rock the pivot ball to the other side. And push him through the hole, boom, out.
Pick up the phone.
Popped in easily.
Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone.
Okay, so that's all back together. I'll just finish tightening that up. I'm going to go through and do the rest. You don't need to see that being done. Just rinse and repeat, same thing. Then the shock mod, we're going to put it back together, trail it. Stay tuned, a few more minutes. Okay, we've got all the brass upgrades that we can get so far for the truck. The carbon fiber chassis, we got the KYOSHO 4.8mm ball ends in there. She's looking pretty with all that nice brass and carbon fiber look to it. Sitting real low, kind of like one of our comp crawlers would be dragging its belly all over the place. Next upgrade for us is we're going to lower these shocks. Now, off camera, Jesse has created these little spacers. And what we've done is stolen some of the jacket from some wire. Some motor wire works well. It's nice and soft. It's silicone based. It can handle the abuse of going up and down and not actually crushing apart. So you want some squishy rubber silicone base. He measured these out to 3mm. We're only going to lower these shocks 3mm, but that's going to give us 300% more performance out of the truck, I think.
Yes.
Yes. So these little guys, take the cap off, and I believe, yeah, you gotta keep it all together, remember? Fun. There is on the inside, it is a Phillips, And on the bottom, it is a 1.5 millimeter. So you're gonna hold all that. You're gonna unscrew the little ball end off the end here. Remember the order how this sits, because you don't want to have to keep doing it over and over again. We put one together last time. I messed it up, so look at it. You can pretty much pull all that right off of there. You take your little limiting tube, you slide it down on the shock shaft, and you just put that back inside. Poke him through the bottom, pull your spring down, your spring lower retainer, your shock mount thing, and then put on the little steel ball on the bottom yet again, 1.5 millimeter. And drive that down. So now you can see there are two different shocks in height so far. Well, the valve, or the body height anyway. This guy's missing the top, but just pull it off, make it a little more fair. So you can see we're down to 3 millimeters. Turns out there used to be a little bit more, whatever. It's not going to hurt it. It still has a ton of travel up and down, and that way it kind of stiffens up the spring a little bit now that we're kind of keeping it under tension. You can cut the spring a couple coils out if you want to loosen it, but we're actually very happy with how they're set up. So the completed ones, we are gonna put a little bit of our black heavy high pressure silicone grease from Team Lossy. I just like to give that a swirl inside the barrel. Just a coating. The grease will help slow the shock down just a little bit. You want to make sure, I just noticed this spring was actually pulled up over the top of the thread part, so you want to make sure that's out of the way before you thread these back together. Snap that down. There's one complete. We move on. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the modifications we've done on our Jeep Wrangler JL Unlimited Rubicon, whatever you want to call it. This is our gunmetal gray Jeep. This guy pretty much has all the same mods as this guy. We lowered the suspension the same amount. You can see with the height difference in here. It's not a lot, but it does tighten up the suspension a little bit because of that extra preload on the springs, as you can see. See a little... This guy doesn't jiggle as much, and this guy, you know, just a little bit too, but nothing as bad as this guy. This guy's floppy. So this guy needs to be lowered just that little bit, and a little bit of brass down low. This guy's bone stock. This is the one we were talking about. We put the life packs in the front with no other mods. We tried to go super light on him, and it's no good. It's too top heavy, too light. It rolls over all the time. So this guy is still running the AAAs, and lots of front weight, big weight difference in these two trucks, having the AAAs in it versus not, and obviously having the brass. So yeah. So yeah, we're actually glad to finish off our collection of these. We're waiting for, I think we got the Jimny we're gonna grab once we get bored and run out of things to buy. There's no real rush on that one. The Jimny wasn't a domestic vehicle here for us, so we really don't give two squirts about it. We'll see what they bring out next. I imagine they'll probably do a Gladiator next. We had a light kit to the Jeep. Looking all purty. Toyota's got a light kit. Looking all purty. And this guy's waiting on his light kit. That's right in the bag. So yeah, we're gonna actually get out on the trail and now take him, hit that same line we hit earlier, and you'll see obviously how much better it is. So yeah, let's go do that. there you go. It's the KYOSHO Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon JL 2020. Same size as an iPhone 11. Pro Max 11. So, yeah, that brings us to the end of the build. As you can tell from that line we hit the second time, you see from the beginning of the video to the end of the video. The truck is very capable out of the box, but with a little bit of mods. I think it was like 75 bucks for the parts, and we limited the shocks down that 3 millimeters, which tightened up the spring rate on it because it's now keeping a preload on the springs. They're not running to their full end of the spring and just kind of flopping, so that's helping. Lowers the center of gravity. You can come lower. The truck does look fantastic sitting all the way down. We might get a white one and do it in a droop format because it looks just fantastic as a street truck. Rock crawling, as everybody knows, is not about the belly clearance, it's about your wheel position. And yeah, so yeah, if you're looking at getting one, Toyota's a good option. Jeep's a better option. The Jeep is a better crawler because it has the longer wheelbase, which we discussed earlier in the video. The tires that come on these trucks, they're not luggy at all. But that last little step we climbed up in the video, even the SCX24 has got to do some spinning and grinding to get up on that little thing. And this guy, with these high bite little street tires, just drove up it like it was a steep driveway. So, yeah, definitely a winner in our books. Price point on these is a little high, 300 bucks per unit in Canada for us. You guys probably get them cheaper elsewhere, but send us one if you find it cheaper. We'll take it. Cheers, and we're gonna go build a monster truck. See you guys later.